To most of the world, NATO's expansion into Eastern Europe appears to be a defensive response to increasing threats from Russia, but that's only part of the story. Behind the diplomatic language and news headlines lies a deeper strategy, one that blends military dominance, economic interests, and historical manipulation. This is Red Line Reports, and today, we break down the real reason NATO is expanding in Eastern Europe. After the Cold War ended, a verbal understanding existed between Western leaders and Moscow. NATO would not expand eastward. Yet over the next 3 decades, the alliance grew from 16 to 31 countries, steadily pushing toward Russia's borders. Nations like Poland, Estonia, and Romania joined the bloc, hosting military exercises, radar systems, and American troops. To Russia, this wasn't just a policy shift, it was a betrayal. Western leaders dismissed Moscow's concerns as paranoia, but from Russia's perspective, NATO encroachment has always been a red line. This is not to justify Moscow's actions, but to explain the logic behind its increasing hostility. NATO, though presented as a defensive alliance, often operates as a strategic extension of U.S. military policy. Washington has the final say in many NATO decisions, and its military footprint in Europe has expanded significantly under the alliance's banner. The result is a system where American weapons, command structures, and objectives dominate Europe's defense landscape. Defense contractors also play a role. Every expansion fuels the demand for arms, logistics, and infrastructure. Companies like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin profit enormously from NATO's presence in the East. The revolving door between these corporations and Western governments ensures that the idea of constant threat remains alive. This buildup hasn't made Europe safer. In fact, it's had the opposite effect. Russian responses have grown sharper. Missile deployments in Kaliningrad, massive war games near the Baltic, and threats of retaliation. Tensions rise with each new NATO base, turning Eastern Europe into a militarized buffer zone more volatile than secure. And what about the people on the ground? In towns near the new NATO deployments, fear and uncertainty are growing. Some support the alliance, hoping for protection. Others question if they're simply becoming pawns in a larger geopolitical struggle between great powers. NATO's expansion is not just about defense. It's about influence, leverage, and long-term control. It is the quiet construction of a new Iron Curtain, not of ideology, but of military dominance. This is Red Line Reports. Subscribe for truth-based analysis that goes beyond the headlines.